In a small Australian town called Sunnyvale, where eucalyptus trees whispered in the breeze and kangaroos sometimes hopped through the outskirts, lived a tall, slim and cheerful 11-year-old lad named Chad. Chad had sandy blonde hair that flopped over his forehead, sparkling green eyes, and a smile as wide as the Sydney Harbour Bridge. But this summer, Chad didn't feel so cheerful. All his friends, Liam, Sophie and little Ollie, were off on vacation with their families. Liam was surfing in Queensland. Sophie was camping in the Blue Mountains. And Ollie was visiting his grandma in Melbourne. Chad was all alone, with no one to play cricket with or share his favourite Lamington snacks. One hot morning, Chad sat down the dusty road, his sneakers scuffing the pavement. The sun blazed overhead, and a kookaburra laughed from a gum tree, as if teasing him. "I just want a friend to play with," Chad sighed, looking up at the bright blue sky. He decided to try his luck at the arcade down the street, a place where the air buzzed with beeps and flashing lights. Inside the arcade, kids huddled around game machines, their faces lit up with excitement. Chad spotted a group playing a racing game and mustered his courage. "Hi, I'm Chad. Can I play with you?" he asked, his voice hopeful. But the biggest kid, a boy with a red cap, rolled his eyes. "Go away, kid," he grumbled. The others laughed, and Chad's heart sank like a stone in the ocean. He trudged home, his shoulders slumped, the sun feeling hotter than ever. At the kitchen table, Chad watched his mum working on her laptop. Her curly brown hair was tied back. "Mum, how do you make friends who like you?" Chad asked, his voice small and wobbly. His mum wiped her hands on her apron and knelt beside him, her eyes soft with understanding. "Oh, my sweet boy, I know it's hard," she said, giving him a warm hug. "But don't worry, love. I've got an idea to help you find some new mates." The next morning, Chad's mum enrolled him in a gardening summer class at the Sunnyvale Community Centre. Chad's green eyes sparkled with hope as he packed his blue backpack with a water bottle, a small shovel, and a packet of sunflower seeds. "Maybe I'll make a best friend today," he said, swinging his backpack over his shoulder. The community centre was a cheerful place, with walls painted yellow and a big garden out back. The classrooms smelled of fresh soil and blooming flowers, and kids chattered as they planted seeds in little pots. Chad adjusted his backpack and stepped inside, his sneakers squeaking on the tiled floor. He spotted a girl with freckles watering a tiny plant. "Hi, I'm Chad. Want to plant together?" he asked, his smile as bright as the sun. But the girl shrugged. "I'm already with my friends," she said, turning back to her group. Chad tried again with a boy wearing a green hat. "Can I help with your pot?" he asked, holding up his shovel. The boy shook his head. "No thanks, mate. I'm good." Day after day, Chad kept trying. On Tuesday, he offered to share his shovel with a girl named Mia, who was planting daisies. On Wednesday, he asked a boy named Ethan about his marigold plant, hoping to start a conversation. On Thursday, he even brought lamingtons to share, the coconut flakes dusting his fingers as he held out the treats. "Anyone want some?" he asked, his voice hopeful. But the other kids stayed in their tight little groups, giggling and whispering, leaving Chad out. By Friday, Chad felt like a kangaroo stuck in the outback, all alone. His sunflower seeds hadn't even sprouted, and neither had any friendships. He trudged home, his backpack heavier than ever, and flopped onto the couch with a huff. "I'm done with summer class, Mum," he said, crossing his arms. I'd rather watch TV instead. Chad flicked on the TV, hoping for a distraction. A colourful commercial flashed on the screen. Rent a bike and explore Sunnyvale. It cheered, showing kids zooming past the beach, laughing together. Chad's eyes lit up like the stars over the outback as an idea bloomed like a wildflower in his mind. If I can't find friends, I'll make them come to me, he said. Leaping off the couch, he raced to the garage, his sneakers squeaking with excitement, and grabbed his art supplies. Paint cans, brushes, and a big piece of cardboard. With a paintbrush in hand, Chad created a big, bright hoarding sign. He splashed it with sunny yellows and cool blues, painting big, bold letters that read, "Buy lemonade for $1. Get a friend for free." He giggled as he added little drawings of smiling faces and lemons around the edges. "This is going to be awesome," he said, stepping back to admire his work. Next, Chad set up a stall in his front yard, right under the shade of a big gum tree. He dragged out a small table, decorated it with red and blue streamers, and laid out his favorite board games, snakes and ladders, Uno, and a puzzle of the Great Barrier Reef with its colorful corals and fish. For the final touch, he mixed a big jar of ice-cold lemonade, the ice cubes clinking like tiny bells, and lemon slices floating like little suns. He placed the jar on the counter, the glass sparkling in the sunlight, and sat down with a hopeful grin. "Now, just wait," he said, swinging his legs under the table. But waiting wasn't as fun as Chad had hoped. The first day, the sun beat down, and the lemonade jar sweated in the heat. Few magpies swooped overhead, cawing loudly, but no kids came. The second day, Chad tried waving at people passing by. "Lemonade and friendship, only $1, he called to a boy on a scooter. But the boy just zoomed past, not even looking up. On the third day, a little girl with pigtails stopped to look, her eyes wide with curiosity. But her mom pulled her away, saying, "We're late, sweetie." By the fourth day, Chad's grin had faded. He kicked at the grass, feeling as dejected as a koala without a tree to climb. "Maybe I'll never make friends," he whispered, his voice barely louder than the rustling gum leaves. He looked at the lemonade jar, now warm from the sun, and the games, untouched and dusty. Chad was about to pack up, his heart heavy, when something unexpected happened. Little did Chad know, whispers about his stall were spreading like wildfire through Sunnyvale. The postman told the baker about the boy giving away friendship with lemonade. The baker told the librarian, who shared the story with the kids at storytime. "There's a boy with a lemonade stall who wants to be your friend." They buzzed, their voices full of excitement. On the fifth day, just as Chad reached for the lemonade jar to put it away, he heard a jingle of bicycle bells. He looked up, and his green eyes widened. A group of kids, some shy, some lonely like him, swarmed his stall like bees to a flower patch. There was a girl with pigtails and a big smile, a boy with a soccer ball tucked under his arm, a quiet kid with glasses holding a sketchbook, and even a little girl clutching a stuffed wombat. "Can we have some lemonade?" the girl with pigtails asked, her voice bright. "And be your friend?" added the boy with the soccer ball, kicking it lightly. Chad's face lit up with glee. "Yes, yes! Lemonade for everyone!" he shouted, pouring the sweet tart drink with shaky, excited hands. The ice clinked, and the kids giggled as they sipped. "This is yummy," the girl with the wombat said, her eyes wide. They played games under the shade of the gum tree, laughing as they raced through snakes and ladders, battled in Uno, and pieced together the Great Barrier Reef puzzle, its corals sparkling in the sunlight. The boy with glasses sketched a picture of their group, and Chad helped him add a big lemon to the drawing. The sun dipped low, painting the sky with pinks and oranges, and the magpies sang a happy song from the gum tree. That evening, as Chad waved goodbye to his new friends, he sat on the steps of his front porch, the empty lemonade jar beside him. He looked at the games scattered across the table, the puzzle pieces still glowing with color, and the sketch of their group pinned to the stall. Chad felt a warmth in his heart, like a summer breeze that wouldn't fade. He realized something magical. There's always a way to make friends if you share a little kindness, and maybe a little lemonade too. The end.